Elizabeth Picorni spent the better part of her life taking care of others.
Pumpkin cranberry bread.
She's a mom first, a nurse a close second.
Ann, could you give me your plate, please?
So when she suffered a mild stroke,
And I noticed my vision was different and a smidgen of a headache.
she had to learn to rely on others.
I was starting to call it my stroke of luck.
Elizabeth was only in the hospital for a day or two. The stroke affected her vision, but not for long. And then it happened again.
Started to have some problems with my left side. I didn't feel quite right.
2 months later, Elizabeth suffered another stroke. This one was not as kind.
I could not really lift this hand off the bed, and I couldn't turn myself over in bed.
There was a lot Elizabeth couldn't do, and she knew it. She wanted to remain independent and wondered how she was going to do that.
I was actually saying, okay, God, I was okay with the vision stroke, but this one's a little bit harder, because how was I going to manage at home?
But the therapists at Emmanuel Rehabilitation Center have that all figured out. Their goal is to get stroke patients home, back into their old life. It begins with a plan custom-made for their unique challenges.
When they come to us, they're really at our mercy and they're looking for a lot of help from a mental standpoint, a physical standpoint. And so we just start by setting small goals, day-to-day victories, celebrating the small things.
I'm putting these onto the feet.
And that eventually turns into big things. Elizabeth needed physical, occupational, and speech therapy. Part of that therapy involved dining out at a local restaurant.
So she went out with speech to a restaurant over lunch and practiced ordering something that was appropriate for her diet, and used her left side, which was her weaker side, practiced cutting, practiced walking around, pulling out chairs within the restaurant was something that was important to her.
Something else that was important to Elizabeth, getting home. One of her biggest obstacles, the stairs inside and outside her house. The steps became a big part of her therapy.
Even though I dreaded it, it was so hard to do those steps. They brought blocks that at first they were, shorter blocks, and I would have to lift that leg up, down like 15 times. And then they'd bring, a few days later I'd go a little bit higher. They had stairs that you would do as if you were at home.
And then she was home. In all, Elizabeth suffered 4 strokes. She's not back at work,
I do miss work.
but she is volunteering
I can still take a blood pressure.
and keeping up with her exercises. Elizabeth spends 1 day a week in the pool at Emmanuel's Aquatic Center, working on any weakness left from the stroke.
When I'm in the water, I feel light as a feather. Isn't that a good feeling? And I feel like I can do things in the water that I wouldn't be able to do.
The quality of care you receive after an injury or illness can determine your quality of life. At Emmanuel Rehabilitation Center, they offer more than physical, occupational, and speech therapy. They restore hope, one patient at a time, to people ready to get on with their life.
If you would like more information on the services available at Emmanuel Rehabilitation Center, call 1-800-ALLEGIANT or go to AllegiantCreighton.com.